already started.
So I just see Florida Media Labs. You have to fill in the password or network. Maybe you said I'm still looking for him here because I know that one of his videos was about immigration, so I know that he probably have a
Hey,
lot to
is
talk
that
about.
password still good? Yeah, he's still in the office.
It's through the Wi-Fi.
Oh, right. Yeah. Got the camera already set up.
Okay.
Or is it ring?
Well, he's working on it. Yeah, you'll be able to tell when this goes online here.
Okay.
Oh, is he already working on
Yeah,
live?
yeah, he's working on it. You'll be able to tell because you'll be able to
To see the mouse
yourself.
moving?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be able to see yourselves here pretty
When
soon.
he puts on the camera?
And that was fast.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
There it is. He's working on it.
It's pretty good. Let me turn the lights on.
Okay. You hiding from the camera?
No, not even. I'm just trying to like, make sure I have all this information. Okay. What was the one guy's name?
Which one, guy?
He just got fired, or she?
The she, Megan Kelly.
Megan Kelly.
Well, we don't. Well, there's speculation.
Speculation.
There's speculation, but if you put Megan Kelly, it'll come up. It's all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is about the two top stories.
Yeah. And I watched.
Did you hear they caught the
No, that just happened. I was just watching the news.
in Florida?
I know that they were searching the post office in Florida,
Yeah.
so they found him on camera dropping it off, probably.
Oh, they haven't said how they found it yet,
Okay.
but there was a huge number of law
Gonna
enforcement
look it up.
people looking for him.
Wow.
And come to find out, he's a right wing nut.
Oh, here it is.
He's got a-
Cesar Altieri.
Yeah.
Saya.
He
Wow.
has a van that's got Trump stuff all over it.
That would have been
Wacko.
That's a good show. See, thank you for telling us that. He just helped us out. We would have went on talking about it, not even realizing, oh,
Yeah.
that guy he's been caught.
Yeah.
I don't have enough information about him though to even talk about him. I'm just not getting this. He's arrested. Wow, next to the pro-Trump stickers plastered all over the white van, he had dozens of names and photos of prominent Democrats and media figures. Even Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, and filmmaker Michael Moore. He was out for blood. Wow. 56-year-old registered Republican lives in Aventura. That is where I'm from.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness.
Believe me, that doesn't color you.
Oh, wow. He's been arrested nearly a dozen times, including a 2002 arrest for making a bomb threat. He has a criminal record extending from the early 1990s.
Now, you'd think a 56-year-old man would know better than to act like that.
Yeah.
He's so stupid.
So that's going to make one of our topics a lot easier to talk about because he's been caught. Remember the topic with the bombs being sent over to
the Democrat.
Yeah, he's been caught. So a lot of our conversation would have been more around
Where is he
speculation.
now? Yeah,
And,
like
what are
the
the-
next plan? Is there a next plan?
right.
Yeah. Okay.
So that'll be a
That's
little
a quick topic.
easier.
That's a quick one. So we have that, the Megyn Kelly. I was just doing a little bit of research, and then
The
the
way
immigration.
the immigrants.
You said it was 4,000.
Yeah, according to I have here closer to 4,000 immigrants. They said that are on their way. It's thousands. They don't have an exact count, but based off of what?
Yeah.
I heard you say this, guy, but you're live.
No, we're not.
Are we?
Yeah,
Did he do that?
yeah.
We're
Oh,
not on.
when?
I see that red kid.
So is he ready for us to start?
Well,
Oh, well, okay.
get closer to
Didn't know that one.
Does he want us to call him first, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
That was funny. How do you know how long?
Yeah, 6
Said-
minutes.
Oh, wow.
So like basically when we came in,
Okay. So,
hey,
all right. I'm gonna move my laptop so I'm not have it in front of me like that. Okay. Well, hello, everyone.
hello.
We didn't realize we were live, but in the absence of our boss, Grant and I will take lead on hosting today's live stream.
Yeah,
So normally on these live streams, this is my first.
me too.
Yeah,
Me
this is
too.
both of our first.
First time.
And so it's a little intimidating that we're also hosting.
Yeah,
With it being our first. But
we're gonna do it.
yeah,
We're
I
gonna-
think
we're
we'll
gonna
do
do our
just
best.
fine. So one of the topics that we want to talk about today, with some of the news that's been headlining all week, the first one includes Megyn Kelly's blackface comment. So for those of you who have not been aware, Megyn Kelly on her show on Monday somehow got on. The conversation started around Halloween costumes that were offensive, and eventually, the conversation turned to racism and costumes, and Megyn Kelly defended why it's okay for a white person to tan their skin a darker color, paint their skin black so that they can portray a person of African American ethnicity. And so, obviously, a lot of backlash came as a result of that. Everywhere on Twitter, online, news stations. And so, with it being such a hot topic, a lot has happened since Monday.
Yeah.
It's something that we both wanted to talk about. So, Grant, I don't know if you want to share any comment or feedback about how you
Yeah.
feel. Where's
My-
your stance on,
Yeah.
her making that comment?
I mean, okay, I understand. So they were talking about Halloween and how costumes and like I get it, it's that time of year. So I mean, they're not wrong to start talking about that, but think about it. In Halloween, there's so many things you can be. And I understand people try to, like, for that day or however long they celebrate Halloween, you can be anything you want. And I get that. That's your freedom. You can do whatever you want. However, you have to know that with that risk, that say you're going to paint yourself a different color or say you're white and you want to paint yourself a little darker. Okay, I understand that. People have done that in the past. So there's a history, but like behind that. So if you do that, that's your choice. I mean, it's your response. Like you can do whatever you want, but just know that some people are going to take offense to that. There's always, no matter what you do, somebody's going to take offense to it. Somebody's not going to like it. Somebody's not going to appreciate it. It doesn't matter. But
right. And to that, what I want to commend is that one of the things that they did not talk about in the media is she was on that day. She was on a panel with 3 other co-hosts, and one of them was Melissa Rivers and Jenna Bush Hager. So Melissa Rivers, when Megan defended that idea, I do want to give credit to Melissa Rivers because she said the same thing.
Yeah.
She said, what happened to, I think her exact comments were, what happened to society politeness, what happened to, people being consciously aware of how a costume or how you carry yourself will affect other people. And Jenna Bush Hager said the same thing. She said that there are limits if you're going to make people feel bad. So I did want to point that out, that what you're saying is exactly on point, but no one in the media gave any credit to, her white counterparts. She was one of the only ones on the table defending that, and she did have people on the panel with her that were actually not in agreement with that idea.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how do I say this? It's tough to like be the only one defending a topic like that, but however, I mean, somebody else is going to think like she's only defending it because she's white or she doesn't like these people. Like somebody's going to blow the topic out of proportion,
right,
and then it will soon become something bigger than what it really is. However, I do not think that what she did was a bright idea, of course. I mean, like, it's not the smartest thing to do, especially in these times. It's a very sensitive subject, and to bring it to the platform that it was on, it's very like risky.
She's a
general.
Public figure.
Of course.
A public figure.
So it's not like nobody's watching her. Nobody's gonna know what she's doing.
No, she's Megyn Kelly. Her 3-year contract is set to be worth $69 million. They're not giving $69 million to a nobody.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It was her responsibility to be educated. You don't go on a show like that where you have millions of viewers and you share opinions and views like that that are insensitive, number one. Mm-hmm. But number two, there are people that are looking up to you. There are people that are aspiring to be like you. You Definitely. Are a role model. You are a public figure. It is your duty to she's a journalist. It is your duty to be educated on the topics that you bring to the table. It was her topic. She brought it to the table.
That's good. She brought that topic to the table, and when she did that, she should have known the risk that it came with. So if she thought she was just going to talk about the topic, not care about it, blah, 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 say what she has to say, and think nobody was going to comment on it, especially that type of topic, then it's going to be a problem, of course. People are going to also look at her like she doesn't care that she's bringing this up, or she's showing a bad light towards Black people.
Right.
So
granted, the next day, she opened up her show with an apology. And the apology did seem sincere. And she spent the first half hour on her show with 2 Black panelists discussing the idea of how we can be more educated and more sensitive around the idealism of racism existing. So granted, the apology seemed sincere.
I think that what she did was good. I mean, it kind of feels weird that the next day she would bring 2 Black panelists. I understand that what she's trying to do, the message she's trying to convey.
Right.
But I mean, say what you gotta say your apologies, come on, get it over with.
Right.
You know you messed up,
Right.
it's fine. We get it. You're a role model, just like you said. She's inspiring a bunch of people,
Right.
and she was shown in a negative light.
Right.
All right, say what you gotta say. You realize you messed up. It was a sensitive subject to bring up in the first place.
Right. Right.
So just get over with it. Talk about like how how you're apologizing, and then just move on. Whole new topic, because there's no point in dragging it on when you know that it's a sensitive subject to most people, and that's not good for you. Like
Right.
you should speak your mind. Of course, I don't like I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't, but always say what you have to say, and then just leave it alone. Don't keep dragging something on just because you want to make sure everybody knows you're
Right.
sorry. We get it. We understand. What you did may intrigue some people, may not intrigue some people. It definitely didn't intrigue some people, so we know that. But hey, like, just get it over with. We understand. Like,
Right.
I get it.
Right. And completely agree with that. I think for the most part, we appreciated the apology. The apology seemed sincere. And you know what? If this was an isolated incident, I think America would have been a little bit more sympathetic to her situation. But unfortunately, here is the issue, Megan. There has been a pattern of incidents relating to this. Just a while back, she made comments on her show that Santa Claus was black and that Jesus Christ was black. There is a list of incidents where she has made some racially charged comments. And so, unfortunately, because there was a pattern, this specific incident has pretty much
It
put
relates.
a nail on the coffin for this. So I don't believe America is going to be sympathetic about her apology, is going to be okay with her moving on. I know that they're in talks with her career ending with NBC. I have not received any final updates or confirmation around that, but I know that after the day that the show aired, there was a taping. And there's been a taping since. So it goes to show that it's not just America that has been fired up about this comment, but it also appears that her employers also did not appreciate the comment that was made around that idea. So with that said, I think we're gonna move on. We pretty much beat that to death.
Yeah.
All right, so I think one of the next topics that's been hot on the news all week has been the wave of the caravan of immigrants that are traveling here and set to arrive to our borders within the next 2 weeks. So there isn't an exact head count on how many immigrants are traveling by foot, but from what they're estimating, it seems to be closer to 4,000 immigrants. And as of right now, it appears the Trump administration is attempting every effort to ensure that they do not arrive successfully, and when they do get here, that they do not cross the borders successfully. So I'll turn it to Grant to see if he has any comments about that topic.
So, okay. I mean, this subject, it's tough. It really is tough. Because I can see it from both ends. Honestly, just being me, I can see it from both ends. I understand. I don't know the main reason. I don't know the reason for every single person coming to the border. My prediction is they want to better themselves. Of course, what they're facing back home is nothing. There's nothing there for them. You can't like live in those type of conditions. I understand that. So come to America. I understand. Come to Florida. Orlando is like a melting pot to me.
Right.
You got a little bit of everything. So I understand that, but if you're gonna take away from one place and then completely like overload another place, yeah, it'll be good, but there's opportunity will soon run out. It's tough. Like it's a tough subject. I mean, you have people who want to better themselves, and then there's people here who aren't doing anything, but they still live here. They have the same rights. So, what can you really do? I mean, eventually there's not. I mean, soon there won't be any like place to stay. There won't be like we're gonna run out of resources. It's gonna be tough. So, I mean, my thing is they shouldn't just all come to one place. It should be like scattered. Not for like a bad thing, but just in general, like there should be places where they can take this many. It should be evenly distributed that way. There's enough like opportunity everywhere. And I mean, don't just overload one place.
Right. So, Grant, I think you are right on the money. We seem to be aligned.
Yeah, I'm
on
having
both
trouble trying to
No,
get it.
you're good. You
Sorry.
are more than eloquent
I'm
with
trying,
how you're
I'm trying.
vocalizing yourself. So what you're saying is exactly where I stand. I am split on the idea too,
tough.
because I see the humanity side of it, right?
Mhm.
So my parents are immigrants. We're all immigrants,
Yeah.
right? Everyone.
If you
in
break
this
it down,
country,
it's true.
right?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
when you come down to it, you can see where those families are coming from, because
Absolutely.
they're running from violence, they're running from poverty,
Mhm.
they're looking and they're aspiring to make a better life for themselves.
Yeah, they just want to
and for
make
children.
it. Of course.
And so there's a history where these caravans have happened before,
Mhm.
not in as large of a mass. This originally started with just about 150 people. And then as they continued to walk, people just started leaving their homes and everything behind and started joining this caravan until it became a mass of thousands. And so if you do see, I'm a mom, and even if you're not a mom, when you think about the humane side of it, you don't want people to suffer.
Of course.
You want people to better themselves. You want people to have access to some of the things that we have access to in this great country. However, should there be some laws and restrictions on our immigration laws? Absolutely. And it's, I think, to piggyback off of what you said, it's our resources. It's like being a parent in a house with 2 kids, right?
Mhm.
There's 2 people working and they make a certain income. Because of the kind of income that they make, they're able to afford gymnastics,
Of course.
football. They're able to take
different incomes,
vacations.
different possibilities, opportunities.
However, they continue to have the same amount of income, right?
Mhm.
But they continue to have children.
That's
Now they
true.
have 20 kids, right? There's no way that they're going to be able to maintain their life. There's no way that their entire economy is going to fall apart. It's not just one child that's getting impacted, it's the entire household. The entire
It's a
household.
domino effect. I mean,
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. So when you mention that, there's a wave of them coming, and how, I think you were trying to say, how is our economy going to be able to handle that?
Exactly.
What are the resources that we have? How are we going to be able to help? We can't help everyone. We can't help everyone.
We want to. That's the thing. We want to.
Right.
But how?
Right.
That's the basic way you can put it.
Right.
We want to help you. But how? We have our own resources. We have things that we also have to do. It's like, oh, wow, I really want to do something nice for you, but I can't.
And so, you know what? I think this is the best way to end on this topic, because Republicans have been very clear on where they stand with immigration issues, but Democrats have not. It's been in the gray line about where they stand with this issue. And I think there's opportunity for Democrats to probably start looking into, if you're not going to go to the far right for this topic, then what opportunities are there? What opportunities are there for Democrats to probably come up with a solution for what they can do for some of these immigrants that are trying to migrate to America? All right. So I think we'll move on to
Very nicely said.
our last topic, which is it's hot off the press. We are going to talk about the bombs, the targeted bombs that are being called the Blue Wave bombs, because these unsuspecting bombs were being mailed in packages that were being sent directly to people who were very vocal about being against Donald Trump, and people who are part of the Democratic Party. So there were, I believe, don't quote me on this, about 10 packages that were sent to different political figures and celebrities. 13. And celebrities that include Robert De Niro were part of this target. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about is originally when this first came out, Trump gave a really positive speech at the White House about, how, it's disappointing and we want to unify the country and bring them together, that violence is not okay. And you know what? That speech was unexpected, but however, it was well received. The country appreciated that. When something like this is happening, we're not looking to divide the country. We want to find ways to bring the country together. Unfortunately, though, a day later at his rally in Wisconsin, I believe, he went from unifying the country to now pointing fingers at the media, and that the media should be held responsible for what's happening. So, so this continues to be one of no, it is never okay to condone violence, and it falls right into place with what's happening with Megyn Kelly. As a public figure, you should be aware of the message that you're putting out there. You should be aware of the fact that forget the minutia, forget the media, forget who was targeting you. The big picture is that we are bringing the country together on this. Violence is happening, and it's not okay for us to say, "Oh, I appreciate the fact that you flipped over a journalist. In fact, next time I'll give you an extra high five for doing that." No, we don't condone violence, especially when we live in a country that gives us the right to free speech, just because someone is saying something that you do not agree with. Grant?
Not only a public figure, the public figure. You're the president of the United States. Your job is stressful. It will always be stressful. There's always going to be, like I said before, there's always going to be people who don't like you. There's always going to be people who praise you. But I mean, to blame somebody else, like blame the media or put it on somebody,
Right.
is just not presidential. I mean, it's your job to understand. I mean, not your job completely, but I mean, dude,
He's the leader of the free
you gotta
world.
help. You have to put your 2 cents into it. I mean,
Right.
especially being like with all these nuclear and like weapons and all this stuff that you're talking about, how you're gonna advance. I mean, bombs and stuff. It's just not okay. And I mean, I understand you can't stop everything. Like, there's gonna be battles you win, battles you lose. But I mean, a bomb threat should never, any type of violence in that genre, that much of a seriousness, it's not okay. It's you got to do something about it. And we're not blaming you, but I mean, you should never put it on somebody else when you can have more say than what they do.
Right.
Especially if you instigate it.
Exactly. He's conflating the violence. He's part of conversations like that, are part of the reason why this guy, who by the way was caught, his name is Cesar Sayoc Altieri, I believe. Altieri Sayoc. Making comments like that is part of the reason why people feel encouraged. It's part of the people why people are now having the guts and are going out there, and they are fired up about putting actions to words, to be the leader of, the free people, the leader of this nation, and to say it's okay to flip a journalist. So if it's okay to flip a journalist, why isn't it okay for this guy to start sending out bomb threats? It falls under the same category. And so it's unfortunate because I want my children to look up to our president. I want my kids to be able to say, I want to become the president when I grow up, or I want to emulate his characteristics, but
even feel comfortable with him being your president.
Right.
You want somebody that you can feel safe with.
Right.
Regardless of what party he's with, when he's the president, you want to know that, hey, he's fighting for me.
Right.
He's
Right.
not.
And I love the fact that you said that, because for me too, it's not about the party. It's not about, where you stand.
Mhm.
It's, once now that you are in this position, what is it that you're going to do with it? How are you going to represent this country? How are you going to become the example, the role model, the leader, the person that we need you to emulate yourself as, so that we can be proud of what this country represents?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I get it in the beginning. You want the guy who you want to vote for to win. Say he doesn't win, though. I mean, being the president, it's a stressful workload all the time. I mean, they have information that we wouldn't even know about, or let alone know to do with. So, I mean, to be in that position, yeah, it's tough. I get it. I understand. You're fighting for everybody in the USA. But to not do anything or to blame somebody, that's just an act of childness to me.
Right.
Of childness, sorry, to me. And I mean, you should never, if you're the president, you should never be pointing fingers or be putting the blame on it when you are in such a high position that it doesn't matter. Regardless, you should be able to know how to address it and to at least try and solve it.
So this Seof, the gentleman that was caught, it says that he had pro-Trump memorabilia plastered all over his van, and he had dozens of Democratic names and public figures, a list of those media figures that he was targeting. So this just happened today. So I'm pretty sure throughout the remainder of the week, we'll probably get more updates as to his true intentions and how this is going to work itself out. Other than that, I believe, Grant, we covered our 3 topics. What do you think?
I think you did pretty good. I mean, thank you to you. You killed it. That was pretty good.
You're right. Teamwork. High five. Teamwork.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Till next week.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Thank you. Should I click? Oh, no, you got it.
Oh, wow. He was really watching.
He's watching.
Wow. That's a little intimidating. That he was cut it off.
Whoa. You did. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's just amazing right now.
Yeah, right.
I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. The information, I was like, man, I'd be lost. That was good though.
But it's teamwork.
That
Are
was
you kidding
that
me?
was really good.
What if he had asked me to do this by myself and talk? There was no way this would have looked as good as it did if it was not a conversation.
If I was here, I'd be like, okay.
It takes a
You did absolutely perfectly.
It takes
That
a
was
conversation. Yeah. Or what if you
Once
were
you get
into
comfortable
it?
in the conversation, I felt like I was like, okay, I could do it.
Yeah, we're good.
That
We're
was good. That was good. Yeah.
And you did it in such a way that it didn't sound like you had an agenda. You were just reporting.
Right.
And that's really important because what we're trying to do with this station once we get rolling
Put out
is
the
to put out
truth.
the truth. Exactly.
Yes. And that's what I kept in my mind during the interview. They said they want to have because when I watch everything, everybody does have an agenda. And they finally, we want to be able to have something where people are just putting out the truth. So I tried my best And plus, I'm neutrally that way though. I'm a little too much that way because people think that I'm just too much in the middle. But I'm really neutral that way where I just want the facts, and this is what I'm going to talk about based on the facts.
Mhm.
And it's
I
hard
like
to have
that, yeah.
conversations like that with people who are extremely
extremely,
to
yeah.
the right. They don't want you to talk about the facts. They want you to talk about why it's
Yep.
better to be on this side.
Yep, I hate that. Yeah,
And
I can see both ends, but I mean, I can give you the information on both. Like,
right.
I can definitely.
And I'm so happy